Mars exploration log, day 1. We didn't have a smooth landing, but we're okay. It appears we're wrong about there not being life on Mars.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the LEGO Retrospective series. I'm Braden from Bradante's Game Room, and I'm joined here today by Adam from AdamBrickz. The subject of today's retrospective is Life on Mars, which is a sub-theme of LEGO Space. We will be discovering the commercials, products, sets, alternate builds, minifigures, and more. We explored the desert with Pharaoh's Quest, the icy lands of Arctic, and now our first video into the final frontier, Life on Mars. Adam's going to start us off with the background story of the theme.
In a not-so-distant future, astronauts from Earth crash land on the planet Mars. There, they find bipedal, friendly aliens living amongst the red desert planet. The concept for life on Mars is simple. The astronauts observe the local inhabitants, called LOMs or LOMs. This is in an attempt to learn about their culture and their way of life. Unlike many previous sub-themes from the space line, the aliens are friendly and the humans are simply there to observe them. There is no war or action happening in this theme, rather the focus being on discovery. This was also around the same time when NASA began to go full throttle on their Mars exploration, so the theme suits the time period very well. Today, we will delve into the unusual and different world of life on Mars, so strap in and enjoy the video. Now I'm going to hand it back to Braden for the commercials and products.
Mars exploration log, day 1. We didn't have a smooth landing, but we're okay. It appears we're wrong about there not being life on Mars. Very wrong. Their technology is very advanced. I've never seen anything like it.
Push your courage farther than it's ever gone. LEGO Life on Mars. Hope you enjoy the trip. LEGO Life on Mars.
Each set sold separately. Your encounter may vary.
What we just saw there was the full Life on Mars TV trailer. As per usual, LEGO does a great job highlighting the sets and showcasing the play features of this line. They even show an alternate build made by combining two sets, that's 7313 and 7314. That's a great touch. Now that the commercial's out of the way, let's get into the other stuff because there's a lot to cover with this one. So the first thing we were able to find was the Out of This World Adventures magazine. This heavily featured life on Mars on the first few pages. The way the sets are laid out here look awesome, and you even see the t-shirt that we're going to talk about later. Here's a better view of the cover of the magazine, as well as another one that we were able to find. Next up is probably one of the coolest things we found for one of these retrospectives so far. What you're seeing here is an alien minifigure that actually went to space. They sent a whole bunch of these guys on the International Space Station, and then when they came back, they framed them like this, making them a very desirable and rare item. Up next, we have the Life on Mars website. So unfortunately, there isn't much left of the actual website. This happens a lot with older websites. But I did manage to use an Internet Archive website to take a few screenshots. Unfortunately, a lot of the pictures are missing, but at least we're able to see how the website was structured and how the information was posted to it. They really went all in on Life on Mars. The next thing we're covering is the Life on Mars live show. This live show ran at Legoland Parks in 2001. What you're seeing on screen now is a recording of that show. It's been very exciting to see as a kid. The alien costumes actually look great, and it seems very accurate to the actual theme. It sort of reminds me of the live-action Ninja Turtle movie. Up next is the LEGO Life on Mars store display. I love the LEGO store displays, they're very unique pieces. This one is no exception. It's always awesome to see a set in the store before you actually purchase it, and they always had custom artwork too. The previous lines we've done retrospectives on, they all had posters, but Life on Mars has a whole bunch of them. Let's take a look. If ever you need a new outfit for a day out or a party or something, you can put together quite the fit with all the Life on Mars clothing. Starting out, we have this gray t-shirt, and yes, this is the same one that was shown in the magazine earlier. Next up is this orange t-shirt that kind of looks like a prison uniform. And lastly, my favorite clothing item that I've seen so far, the iconic silver Life on Mars vest. This thing is awesome, I'm glad I don't have it or I'd wear it everywhere. Those were the big Life on Mars products, but there's quite a few others. We're going to go through them really quick now. I'll show a picture of them up on screen as I list them off. Pen set, clock, watch, keychain, another keychain, whatever this thing is, a pin, another pin, and a drawstring bag. Oh, and they also had the accessory pack as well. Now we're going to go through every set in detail. First, Adam will talk about the alien sets, and after that I'll be discussing the human sets. Take it away, Adam.
Okay guys, so we're just going to jump right into the sets. As Braden mentioned, I'm going to be covering the alien sets. So the first set we're going to be looking at is set number 1414, the double hover. Now a common theme you're going to see here with a lot of these early 2000s themes is that they made a polybag and a box version of a lot of the smaller sets. This is a prime example. The double hover had a box set which was 7300. There are no differences between the two sets, simply one came in a box and one came in a polybag, and you're going to see that for a few other sets that we're going to cover here. This set comes with a orange and turquoise LOM, or LOM, the alien. There isn't a whole lot to write home about the double hover. However, I do really like that printed dish piece in the back. It looks absolutely fantastic. The use of the sand green in the back also looks really great, and it's a decent little build. Now this set was actually part of the Kabaya sets, so this is a set that you could only get in Japan at the time. They did this with Star Wars, they did this with a few other themes. I think Rock Raiders had a few too. And again, these are just exclusive to Japan. Many people have shipped them over, they're pretty easy to get, but you're going to have to pay quite a fee for them. The next set we're going to be talking about is the Jet Scooter. The Jet Scooter is a beautiful little set. I think it's a little bit better than the last one. You get a LOM here with black legs this time, and the only issue I would have with these sets and with these minifigures more specifically would be the legs. You can't move them, they're not bendable. It's kind of like the B-1 battle droids from Star Wars. There's just no bendability to them, which is fine for the time, but looking back, obviously it would have been a nice fix they could have made, but you get what you get. We get that cool little head mold, which is turquoise, and it looks fantastic, as for most of the minifigures in this line. As with our previous entry, there is a box set, and this is the Kabaya version. The box set is set number 7303, and again, there's really no differences between these sets. The only difference, one comes with a polybag and was released in Japan, the other was released worldwide and came in a box. The actual build for the set's not bad. It comes with two little thrusters on the front, which I think look really good with those translucent orange pieces. There's a few nice printed pieces. There's a printed tile on front, which looks really good and sells the detail that it's a sort of cockpit region. And there's another large printed piece on the back. I do like the smaller sets in this theme, as it feels like it really fills out the actual theme, but they're nothing really to write home about, as you'll see going forward. There's a lot better sets, and they get a lot bigger. We're going to be looking at Worker Robot, or 1416 next, and this is probably my favorite out of the smaller sets from Life on Mars. As a LEGO Star Wars fan, this sort of reminds me of an AT-ST. I really love the concept of just a simple robot walking on two legs. The Worker Robot set includes the turquoise and orange LOM, which again, I really like these minifigures. It's very nostalgic to a lot of us. The only thing I would say with this set is that the coloring is a little bit off on it. I like the sand colors they were using in the previous sets, and for this set they seem to have gone for a more sandy kind of look with the brown and the tan. And it looks okay, but I just don't feel like the colors flow quite well together with the dark old gray. It just looks a little off-putting to me. Besides that, this is probably my favorite set from the smaller sets in the theme. And surprise, surprise, this was the polybag or Kabaya version. As you know by now, there was a box release version of each of these smaller sets. This set number was 7302, and it was just a box set again. LEGO really seemed to like doing these polybag and box mixes. We saw this in the last thing we covered in the Arctic video. And once again, if you want to get your hands on one of these Kabaya sets, you're going to have to be paying a hefty fee. With the small sets out of the way, let's move into the next series of sets. Things are really starting to heat up on the planet of Mars with this set. Red Planet Cruiser, or 7311, is the next set, and we finally get to start seeing the use of the sand pieces. And it looks absolutely beautiful. I love these sand colors, they're probably my favorite out of LEGO, and the sand green just looks absolutely fantastic on the back of this build. So this build is essentially supposed to be just a cruiser robot that the aliens use to roam around the planet. It's a bit of a spaceship with a leg hanging down, I guess, to probably land the actual ship for the robot. We have two thrusters on the back with the translucent orange pieces again. The front of the build also has two mechanical arms, and I really like the way this build looks. The landing piece is really nice, albeit it is one large piece similar to the pieces used in the AT-SD from 2001 in LEGO Star Wars, but nevertheless it looks good, and especially for the time with the coloring, it really fits. This set gives us probably my favorite minifigure. We get a lime green LOM. And if you guys are Star Wars fans like me, you remember Bounty Hunter Pursuit, and I love the lime green coloring. Also Power Minders fans. And this is definitely my favorite minifigure. It looks really good. This set, unlike the smaller sets in the theme, did not come with a Kapaya version, it only came with a box version released worldwide. That makes my job a lot easier for covering this video. The Red Planet Cruiser is overall a really solid set, and one of my favorites from the line. I love this next one. The Red Planet Protector, or set number 7313, is absolutely beautiful. They make great use of some purple pieces in this set, and there's some fantastic printed pieces on there as well, as you can see from this image. From what I can understand from the set, it looks like this is a robot that sort of protects the aliens on the planet, hence the name Red Planet Protector. But it's a really nice set. It's quite menacing. I mean, if you landed on Mars and saw this, you probably want to fly back to Earth. And it looks like this is a non-operable vehicle. I can only base this on the fact that the alien, or the LOM, is outside of the vehicle, and it looks like the actual Red Planet Protector is guarding him. I could be wrong, let me know in the comments down below, but I like the idea that this is a robot that simply just follows the LOMs around and protects them as they search the surface of the Mars planet. One thing I will say about these sets before I move on is I really like the box art to the Life on Mars sets. You get a silhouette of the planet Mars, you get actual Mars surface, and you get the clouds on Mars. Let's move on to the next set. We're getting to that side of the Life on Mars sets that really show the strengths of the theme, in my opinion. This set is a prime example of that. Let me tell you why. If you look at some of the other sets that were released in 2001, this thing, probably up there for one of the better sets. It's a really simple yet effective design. It has a very simple yet effective color scheme, that being a red, a sand green, and finally the translucent orange and translucent green pieces. But I really like this color theme. I also like the tubular build that they made on the side for the arms. Now, I don't own this set or anything, but what I will say about it is that the tubes on the side make it look like the arms are a lot more flexible. That would lead me to believe that the playability of this set is a lot better than the previous sets we've looked at, and to me that automatically puts it above the other sets. This is a very menacing robot, and again, if you landed on Mars and saw this, you would be heading back in your ship and heading straight back to Earth. There's a sort of claw grip on one arm, and then on the other arm it looks like a flamethrower. For a theme that prides itself on discovery, this is a very threatening object, and probably a reason that we never saw a war between the humans and the aliens in this theme, because by the looks of it, the aliens would probably wipe the floor with the humans. We get another different LOM in this set, and in this one we have a sort of sand coloring for the torso. Not my favorite, but it's pretty solid. This guy looks kind of sad based off his head, but nonetheless, it's a good minifigure. Let's move on to the next set. Set 7316, Excavation Searcher, is our next set, and oh boy, we get some really cool pieces in this one. Let's take a look at it. As we know, a common color in this theme would be all the sand colors, and we finally get some sand purple, which is one of my personal favorite colors of all time. We get what they call a 1x8x6 portal, and this has a fantastic mold to it, especially for the year 2001. I think it looks great. You also get some nice printed wedge pieces, as shown in the picture here, and the godly translucent orange rock piece, which if you like Ice Planet like I do, you'll love this piece. The build for the set looks like it's supposed to be a small base that has a excavation searcher, obviously, that's the name of the set, and it looks like they're bringing artifacts back to this little excavation site. From the looks of the set, it looks like they're carrying these translucent orange rocks around, and they must hold some sort of value to the LOMs. I also really like the build for the robot here, the excavation searcher. It looks like a sort of spider or a scorpion. I really like that look. They use some Technic pieces up top to display a sort of claw, which I think was a really nice touch. The little platform up top also looks really great. It screams 2001 to me. It's got that really cool retro look to it. And it looks like there's some sort of gate opening out front, which I think looks really good too. The set comes with 3 different minifigures. The first being our tan boy from the last set. The next minifigure has a gray torso, and his name is Pollux. And finally, we come back to Vega, the orange and turquoise LOM. It's a really solid lineup. This is their little excavation site. These are the 3 workers, and I think it looks really good. One of Life on Mars' stronger sets, in my opinion. Let's check out the next set. This is obviously the largest set of the line, and it is AOT Tube Hanger. The set came with 680 parts and 5 minifigures, and we get some really cool pieces in this one. Let's take a look at it. So we get introduced to these pneumatic pieces with the pump in the background. The pump is used to send the aliens from one side to another, and it was the first time we've seen a piece like this from LEGO. We wouldn't see this pneumatic piece again until Mars Mission, but I think it's a main piece of the set and offers some really fun functionability and playability. There are 3 separate tubes on this to transport 3 different aliens at one time. We have our sort of main base at the center of the build. We have a nice little sort of helicopter build that's flying around. We have another mech or a little robot on the set as well. We get 5 minifigures. We get a Martian that is red and green. His name is Arcturus. We get Cassiopeia. and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing these incorrectly. We get Mizar, we get Rigel, and we get Vega again. I think Cassiopeia is probably my favorite. I love the purple and the turquoise mixed together. We get all kinds of sand pieces in this one. We get sand purple, sand green, sand red. Lots of great pieces in this set. And the little piece that they send the aliens through looks like almost like a stretcher to me. Kind of made me laugh when I first looked at it. Then I remembered that Mars Mission had similar things, and I used to love those sets, so I'll let it pass. Unlike Mars Mission though, these are black. Mars Mission had white. You would slide these into the tubes, you would pump the pneumatic piece, and they would slide all the way through the tubes out the other side. So this was a great playability feature. The main piece of the build would obviously be the centerpiece here. There's a lot going on. We once again see the sand purple portal piece, which I really like. It looks like it's supposed to display some sort of door piece for them. We have another translucent orange piece, which is the rock that is being held up by the crane in the background. And we have what looks like two little umbrella pieces on each side. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be a get-together area for the aliens or not, but regardless, it looks really funny. And at the end of the tubes, we also have these little entry pieces. Again, it kind of looks like the last build with a little gate in front. We have a blue and a red one. They're really simple, but I think they're effective, especially for the time being 2001. Now, obviously, guys, this is the biggest set from the line. However, I don't actually think it's the best set. You guys are going to see further on what is my favorite, so stay tuned for that. So that wraps up all of our baseline sets. I'm going to quickly cover the 4 polybags that were released. So quickly going through these, we have the Vega polybag, the Mizar polybag, the Altair polybag, and finally the Guard polybag. These were just simply a great way and a cheaper way to get the minifigures you want in bulk. And you could make a giant army of these minifigures if you really wanted to. Now, I'm going to hand it back to Braden. He's going to cover all the human sets. Enjoy.
Okay guys, so I'm in charge of taking a look at the human sets. I'll also be covering the combo packs, as well as the alternate builds. Stay tuned to the end of the section to see those. Alright, so the first set we're going to be looking at is 1195 Alien Encounter Polybag. So here's a picture of it up on the screen now. If you've watched the other retrospectives, you know we're not the biggest fans of the polybags. However, this one's pretty good. You get an alien, and you get a human minifigure. So already you're up 2 minifigures in one polybag. That's great. The builds themselves really aren't bad at all. Both of these builds would look at home in any of the other sets. So as far as polybags go, this one's great. So the next set we're looking at is the Rover 7301. So not a bad little build. You get 1 minifigure with it. It's very similar in size to the human build in the polybag we just looked at, but just a little bit bigger. Not a bad build, nice and compact, and I like what they did with the tires here. This set is the exact same as 1413 and 7309. The main difference is the packaging, but the build is the exact same. Up next is 7310, the Monojet. This is a nicely put together little set. I really like the use of the big wheel in the middle of it. I find that sets it apart from a lot of the other vehicles that all have 4 wheels. This one has great colors and is not a bad little set for 33 pieces. Up next we have the T3 Trike 7312. This is where things start to heat up a little bit on the human side of Life on Mars. This is a great build. 3 wheels, an awesome cockpit, and it looks like some sort of tubing going to the cockpit. This is awesome. It looks like something you would see on Mars. I think it captures what they're going for perfectly. Up next, possibly one of the best sets in the line, 7315 Solar Explorer. You get a pretty healthy lineup of 3 minifigures, fully equipped, ready to deal with anything they find on Mars. There's some great piece usage in this set as well. The cockpit is well done, and that big large red piece you can see on the ship can be lifted up so you can see inside. There are also 2 mini builds included with this one being a small vehicle. I think the only thing that could make this set better is maybe a small alien build, maybe bugging them or something, but this is an awesome set. Those were all the mainline sets, but now we're going to take a look at the combo packs. First one is called Alien Discovery 78777. As seen here, it includes 7308 Double Hover, 7311 Red Planet Cruiser, and 7309 Rover. I'm not going to go over all the sets again because we already have, but it does have special box art and it looks awesome. This is a really nice piece. Next up we have the Life on Mars kit. That is K7317. This kit includes 7317, 7314, 7313, and 7315. We weren't able to find much on this one, but these are for the bigger sets in the line, so it would have been an awesome kit to get. And the final set is Life on Mars 4-pack. This one is listed on Bricklink as item number CabMars-1. and includes 1414 Double Hover, 1415 Jet Scooter, 1413 Rover, and 1416 Worker Robot. Again, we've already talked about all of these sets, but this is a great way of filling out your Life on Mars collection. And it's almost like a battle pack, really. You get 4 minifigures with 4 vehicles. Not a bad option if you're looking to add to the bigger sets that you already have of this line. So that concludes a thorough look at all the sets that Life on Mars has to offer. There were quite a few alternate builds as well. A lot of them involved putting 2 or more of the sets together. I'll put all the ones we could find for you up on screen now. Take a look and let us know what you think down in the comments below. Join me in the next section as we take a quick look at the minifigures. Welcome to the minifigure section. Bricklink states that Life on Mars has 20 figures, however one of them is being deleted. It looks like it was a duplicate. It's the one with the yellow X next to it, LOM003. So Life on Mars has 19 minifigures. There were 5 humans and then the rest of them were all aliens. A standout for the humans would be LOM015. He had this nice chrome piece and appeared on the Solar Explorer. The other standout would be his co-pilot on the Solar Explorer, LOM017. He also had that nice chrome piece. As for the aliens, I actually think they look really good. They use a recolored droid body from the Star Wars line, and are mostly different shades of green. I'm a big fan of how their printings for their heads look, and I think there's enough unique factors about each alien that makes them really stand out from one another. My favorites being LOM011 and LOM009, both of which appeared in the AOT Tube Hanger, and Mizar, the LOM009, he appeared in a polybag as well. The most common figure is LOM013, the assistant minifigure. This human fig appeared in 4 sets, that's why it's the most common and least expensive. If you need to add some assistants to your set, you can get them for an average of $2.09. As for the most expensive fig, we have LOM005, Arcturus. This guy appeared in only 1 set, the AOT Tube Hanger, and if you wanted to make an army of Arcturuses, it's going to cost you $16.51 each. He's the most valuable figure in the entire theme, likely due to his nice print and only being in 1 set. That's all for the minifigures. Again, a lot of the aliens look similar, but have little things that differentiate them. And the humans, well, they all look pretty much the same. Pretty solid lineup of figures for this theme. Up next, we're going to talk about our favorite sets in the line, starting with AdamBrickz.
Okay everybody, so for my favorite set, I've chosen set number 7315, the Solar Explorer. The reason that I decided to pick this set for my favorite was because of the simple fact that it's a spaceship, and I really like that. It's very basic. It uses some really nice large panel pieces in the middle there, and I've always enjoyed LEGO's builds of rockets or little spaceships, and this one does not disappoint for me. I also like that little robot there that they have. I'm not sure if that's a robot or just a little station for them, but I really like that build. And I like the little car for our astronaut too. That looks really good too. Lots of great detailing, lots of great printing on this set, and I just think it's a really solid one, and it's definitely my favorite of the line. I think objectively speaking, the AOT Tube Hanger or set number 7317 is the best set. However, the smaller set, which was the 7315, was my favorite. Like I mentioned earlier, some people might be surprised by that. But it's my choice at the end of the day, and I really like this set. So I'm going to hand it back to Braden now, and he's going to go over his favorite sets.
When it comes to my favorite sets for Life on Mars, there's 2 that really stand out for me. The first one is Excavation Searcher 7316. This thing comes with 3 alien minifigures, and just look at that color scheme. Light brown and orange looks awesome. I think the set would display so nicely on a shelf, and I just love how all the aliens they have a place to sit on the actual craft. I think it's super cool to see them like working as a team to run this thing. The other one that I really like is the Solar Explorer 7315. You get the best selection of human minifigures that the line has to offer. You get a few mini builds, and that big red part comes off so you can see inside the ship. Very cool feature. I also find that a big make or break point for me when it comes to spaceships is the cockpit, and this one nails it. It has a beautiful cockpit. I don't have much else to say about these two that we haven't said already, but they do stand out when you look at the line as a whole. Join me next for the conclusion, tier list, and possibly a surprise. So here we are, guys, at the end of the video. Thank you so much for tuning in. This one was a lot of fun. There was a lot more to it than the other lines that we've looked at already. Lots of quirky products, lots of sets, lots of awesome things going on with this one. So that being said, we've discussed it thoroughly, and we're going to put Life on Mars on C tier. So it's going to be a high C tier above Pharaoh's Quest. Originally we had it low B tier, but then we discussed some of the things we'll be seeing on B tier, and it just really didn't fit there. That all being said, this tier list is very subject to change. I expect it to, especially as we go through some other themes. And it being C tier does not take away from the fact that this is a great space theme. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you liked the video, please leave us a comment below. If you can think of any improvements, let us know as well. Leave us a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. If you have a theme you'd like us to cover, absolutely let us know below as well. Speaking of the next retrospective,
Stay tuned for the next episode of our retrospective series as we head to the Amazon with the crew of Johnny Thunder to discover hidden artifacts and possibly secrets that lie beneath the Amazon.